Our next speaker, this is Katie Hayes from Hayes and Strode Law.
Yep.
Strode Law.
Strode. So I know before we got on stage we were goofing a little bit, just like get rid of those nerves. And you said something about doing a little dance.
Oh, no,
and
no,
me, as a legally blonde veteran, may just casually suggest the bend and snap. I know, I'm just kidding. Don't worry about it. Legally
My
blonde
kids
is nothing
would
like
be
it.
mortified if I danced in front of you today. So
Aw, boo.
otherwise, I would totally do it.
Okay.
It's okay.
Thank you anyways.
Well-
Appreciate it.
Give her a round of applause. Thank you.
Well, welcome to Rifle High School. I am Katie Hayes. I work at a law firm here in Rifle that I own with a partner, Angela Strode. Angela graduated from this high school. I graduated from Osage City High School in Kansas, and there was 52 kids in my class. So I came from a small school in a small town. Neither one of my parents went to college other than my dad went for a very short time, but my parents were not educated. I have three siblings. I have two siblings. There's three of us. We all went to college, and I went on to law school. So you go to college for 4 years, and then you have law school for 3 years. And when I was preparing for this, I was asked some questions about my high school experience, which has been a long time ago, but it did remind me of a few things. And the reality was I didn't know I wanted to be a lawyer in high school, but I think part of that was kind of pushed back for me because I didn't know any attorneys. My parents weren't professionals, and so it just didn't seem like something that was on the radar for me. But we had debate in high school, and my team that included me and my brother, we won state debate in my sophomore year. I also won state my sophomore year in speech or forensics, which I had forgotten until Jane was asking me about the things that I had done before. And looking back on it, the other thing that it reminded me of, I was the only girl on all of those teams. I was also an athlete. I played volleyball in high school, but I was usually the only girl involved in something else that I might do, like debate or speech. I was also the editor of the high school newspaper. I remember one time in high school, and that we're all kind of talking about experiences that we had, we went to the next town over, and there was a female attorney there, and they put on a little mock trial. And I remember thinking, wow, she's really hip and cool, you know? She's acting funny, she was a witness in the trial, and I thought, maybe I could be an attorney, that's really neat. I went to college at Fort Hays State, which is in western Kansas. I met my husband there. He was on the 10-year college path, so it took him a long time to finish college, but we did finish together. And at college, I did a couple of interesting things. Again, I didn't expect to be an attorney at that point, but I wanted to be in journalism. So at Fort Hays State, you could be in radio and TV right away. So when I was a freshman, I was a news anchor on the little college TV station. It was really fun. And I was also a radio DJ, both at the college station and at the station in town. And I had a radio name. My radio name was Shelby Young, because you don't want to use your real name to avoid stalkers when you're, a radio personality. I thought I was pretty famous, I guess. The other thing I did during college, again, was not related to the law necessarily, but I was an intern for the city manager for the city of Hayes. So I started kind of learning about public administration, how cities work, how government works, and those were all really interesting things to me. One of the things I think is important, and I tell anyone who's willing to listen, who's thinking about going to college, is it's really important not to have any more debt than you absolutely have to get your undergraduate degree. Because if you want another path option after that, which is pretty important, I think, if that's the path you're going down, then you need to save that, because law school, graduate school, it's super expensive, especially now. My husband and I graduated from college together. We took a year off, and we went to Oklahoma, which I see a OU fan over here, but it's not somewhere I wanted to live at all. So we took the LSATs together and decided whoever got the better score would go to law school. So that was obviously me. And it wasn't a matter of intelligence, it was a matter of hard work. And just like the other speakers have said, you have to separate yourself from the crowd in some way. And I think the two best ways to do that are to work harder. It doesn't have to be a lot harder than everybody else, but at least a little bit. And the other quality I think we all share is that we have really good interpersonal skills. You have to have relationships with other people. You have to be able to communicate. And those are two super important skills. In college, just like we were talking about the business degree, in law school, I didn't learn how to practice law in law school. They teach you how to think, they teach you how to analyze problems, but they don't teach you how to practice law. Except my law school had a clinic for family law. So I did, as a student intern, get to represent a couple of clients in family court. And I found that to be very rewarding. Because family law, which is like divorces, child custody, child support, I mean, these are not fun times, obviously. But it's a difficult time that you can help somebody through. In law school then, I also worked as an intern for the Kansas League of Municipalities, which gave me some more public administration experience. Again, after law school, you have to pass the bar exam. It is brutal, I'm not gonna lie, but I did pass it. And I think then I went to work at a firm where, again, I was the only woman. But it was all about building relationships and building experiences. I then moved to Glenwood Springs area. I lived with my parents when I was 30 years old because I couldn't afford to buy a house. But now, after working for another firm for 12 years, I've had my own business for the last 4 years, and it's an excellent path for me. I'm able to do what I love every day. I'm able to take time off. I'm able to travel with my family and provide my kids opportunities that I didn't have. So the things, if you're good at arguing with your parents, you're a good candidate to be a lawyer. Build relationships, work hard, and stand out above the crowd. You don't have to know what you're going to do in 20 years. Just have a goal for the next few years and work towards it and finish it. At this point in my life where I've come, I could do a lot of different things. I don't have to do what I'm doing right now. But because I've built that foundation, my pathways are open. And that's something that I hope you all will work towards as well. Thank you.